if I traded it all.
So welcome back. Now, my next guest is Jim Kahn, and he is the founder of Bankruptcy Legal Center. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carol. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you know, we were talking at the break, and I was saying I'm going to ask you some of my own questions. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about yourself, because that's important with what you do, and about what you do. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'm a third-generation bankruptcy and commercial law lawyer, so it runs in the family a little bit. I've been practicing in Phoenix for more than 40 years, and as you mentioned, I'm the founder of the Bankruptcy Legal Center. My associate and I, Crystal A. Hart, combined have over 50 years of experience in bankruptcy matters and commercial litigation matters. We both hold an AVO rating, AVVO rating of 10.0. You can go on the internet and look that up.
What's that mean, just so we know?
It's a peer rating service. AVO collects recommendations from other attorneys and from clients. And if your recommendations are good, you can work your way up to a 10.0, and that's where we are.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been designated as an AV preeminent lawyer by Martindale Hubbell. That is also a peer rating service, probably the oldest peer rating service in the U.S., and selected as a Southwest Super Lawyer by Thomson Reuters, which is one of the largest publishers of law books. So I'm excited with those honors. I've been certified as a bankruptcy specialist by the State Bar Board of Legal Specialization. So I've kind of earned my keep along the way. Just a comment, if I may, though, to the listeners. I'm glad to share what information I can, but this should not be construed as legal advice. You need to get legal advice from somebody who you're talking to directly and who understands your circumstances. So please consider this general information and not as legal advice about your case. Right.
Now, you basically can help anyone from anywhere in Arizona. Okay?
Yes, that is correct.
But your office is in North Central Phoenix, and he's going to give to anyone who calls in and says that they heard this on the show. You can either, if you want to get connected with him, you can call here at the station, and I will help you with that. But also, you can call him. Anyone who does tell him that he heard it on Networking Arizona, you are going to get a free consultation from him. The phone number to call him is 602-266-1717. And I want to talk a little bit about sort of you for a minute for some of the people that are listening out there. This isn't something that necessarily isn't like, so, wow, I got to have that. It's something that people are thinking, a lot of people mostly are embarrassed by it. They are, they just don't even want to deal with it. So they put their head in the sands. Though I believe that I am correct when I say it is their right to do. So, we don't want you to feel that way. I'm just saying, everybody has the right, correct?
Absolutely. It's in the Constitution. So, yes, everybody does have the right. You're right. It is embarrassing for a lot of people. They feel very bad about it. They sometimes put their head in the sand, and sometimes they leave their head in the sand until they reach a real critical stage. And that's unfortunate, because if people would come to see me or see a bankruptcy lawyer, qualified bankruptcy lawyer, there are a lot of things we can do for people early on if we're given time and some options. If they come in at the very last minute, gee, my house is going to be foreclosed in a week, there's not very much I can do. I mean, I can get them into bankruptcy, but I may not be able to protect other assets, where if I have time and under case law, we're authorized to help them move their assets around to take full advantage of the Arizona exemption law, the law that protects assets.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want you to write down the number. The number is 602-266-1717. His website is bankruptcylegalcenteraz.com. All right, what's your one, best piece of advice that you can give everyone out there?
One best piece of advice is see a qualified professional early. You don't have to file just because you go see them.
Right.
But you need to get the information. You really owe it to yourself to get the information early, and then be prepared to make whatever decisions seem appropriate.
So everyone that calls in and tells them that you heard it on this show, again, I know that it may not be today, but it might be that you're thinking about it, and you start thinking, you talk with your significant other, and they say, you know what, I think we should. Tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona, and you're going to get a free consultation. The number to call them is 602-266-1717. So how can bankruptcy then affect my life?
Well, it can change a lot of things. First of all, you're not even thinking about bankruptcy unless you have a lot of debt coming down around your shoulders. and bankruptcy can relieve you of a good portion of that debt, not usually all debt. If you've gotten behind on your mortgage, if you've gotten behind with your car payments, bankruptcy can help you. If you perhaps owe a large tax debt and the tax
I didn't know that you can do that.
You can do that. You can manage a lot of assets. So you can play catch up on your mortgage payments. You can play catch up on your car payments. You can set up a payment plan for the IRS, get them paid. Most taxes that come due within 3 years before bankruptcy cannot be discharged, but they can be managed. And that's very important. So it gives people an opportunity to get out from under the burden of debt, get away from the phone calls, get away from the garnishments, and have their lives controlled. No surprises. When they get bad news, it comes slowly and gently.
Well, this is something that's probably not on there, though. In terms of when somebody does something like this, if they're to call you, you said that they need to kind of do it sort of quickly, not necessarily like if they want to do it, don't want to wait till like your house is being foreclosed on and they're knocking on your door. So the sooner that they do this, the better. If you do talk to them, and let's say you can manage your payments, it means you may not lose your car, right? You're not going to lose your car. Because a lot of people feel like they're going to lose their car, they're going to lose their house, they're going to have 10 years of bad debt, and they won't be able to do anything. How's that work?
Well, the Arizona has fairly liberal exemptions, which is legal talk for protected property. You can keep up to $150,000 equity in your home. You can keep keep your car with equity $6,000 or less, $12,000 if you're handicapped. You can keep your household furniture and furnishings. You can keep business equipment, professional service equipment, up to $5,000 per person, and that's park and swap value. That's not new value. So number one, you get out from under a substantial burden of debt. Number two, you get things managed for yourself. You know where you're headed from that point forward. And yes, bankruptcy will stay on your credit report for up to 10 years, but most of my clients report back that they have brought their credit scores into the high 600s as early as 2 to 2.5 years after the bankruptcy. So it does give them a chance to rehabilitate their credit and get back on a good path and a good track.
Right, and don't put your head in the sand. Give them a call. That's 602-266-1717. The website is bankruptcylegalcenteraz.com, and his offices are located in North Central Phoenix, right at 3rd Street and Bethany Home Road. He can help anyone in Arizona. If you do say that you heard it on Networking Arizona, he's going to do a free consultation for you. So 602-266-1717. So before we go to a break, we have a couple minutes, and I do want to talk a little bit about some of the different types of bankruptcy. So many chapters in bankruptcy. So how would you choose which one if you're a business, let's say?
If you're a business, Chapter 7 is shut it down. That's real simple. If it's all over, all you want to do is I like to refer to as lay it down gently. Chapter 7 for the business. But for a business, you're looking most likely at a Chapter 11. And in a Chapter 11, first of all, in most cases, you remain in control of your company. You operate your company. You're operating under a bit of a magnifying glass. Everybody gets to look and watch, but that's okay. Maybe you needed that for a while anyway. But you can put together a plan of repayment for the creditors. The creditors get to vote on it, so we have to be as generous to the creditors as we can be, but the creditors get to vote, and we construct a plan with the cooperation of our clients that is a feasible plan for them, something they can afford, and something that the creditors will accept, but it often results in a substantial discount, reduction of debt for the company that's in bankruptcy.
But you can at least stay in business, right?
That is correct.
You stay in business, and all of this lift is off of you. This is peace of mind is what happens, and you have a right to do it. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk further about some of the things that you can help them with and talk, just giving them some food for thought. That's what we're here for today. We're going to leave our lines open here, too, if you want to get connected with him through me. Our number here is 602-277-5369. If you tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona, he is going to do a free consultation for you, and that's 602-266-1717, bankruptcylegalcenteraz.com. Hold on. We'll be back in just a minute.
I traded it all.
Welcome back. We're talking with Jim Kahn, and he's the founder of Bankruptcy Legal Center. They're located in North Central Phoenix, can help anyone in Arizona. And this is something that if you're listening and you know, you're thinking to yourself, gosh, this could really do me good. I really should think seriously about this. He will give everyone who calls him a free consultation if you tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona. The number to call him is 602-266-1717, and you can check him out on his website, which is bankruptcylegalcenter.az.com. So before we went to a break, we were talking a little bit about, you know, businesses and chapters and all the different chapters that they have. And I know you mentioned a couple of them. Chapter 11 sounds the nicest one because nobody really just wants to think about that they have to, but sometimes they have to close their business, which is the 7. But then there's more as well. Go ahead.
Well, there is more, and individuals can also be in Chapter 11. Usually it's only individuals with either multiple income-producing assets. So if you have 3 or 4 rental homes around the city, or you own an apartment house, you own a small business, Chapter 11 might be appropriate for you as an individual. Chapter 7 is called Fresh Start for the people who just have, essentially a pile of debts, cannot manage it, can't live with it any longer, just need a fresh start. Go through Chapter 7, and most of their debts are wiped out. If you have a home with a mortgage and you want to keep the home, you have to pay the mortgage. You have a car with a loan against it. You want to keep the car, you have to pay the loan. If you're willing to give up the car, you don't have to pay the loan. So Chapter 7 is a way to get rid of a substantial portion of your debt. Chapter 7 is not available to high-earning individuals, however. If you earn over the median for the county, and it's a complex formula, but just for discussion purposes, we'll say as an individual you earn more than about $40,000 a year, then we need to look at possibly a Chapter 13 for you. Chapter 13 is a payment plan, wage earner payment plan. Although you don't really have to be a wage earner, you can have a small business if you want to, and you can go through Chapter 13 with your small business. There are debt limits you can't be above to be in Chapter 13, but often it's a very easy version of a Chapter 11. You still put together a plan for repayment. You don't necessarily repay all of your debt. As a matter of fact, I would say most of the time you don't repay all of your debt. You repay a portion of it, and then you get a discharge. You get a pat on the back. You get an attaboy or attagirl, and you go on with your financial life the way you wanted to in the first place, but hopefully better.
Right. Now, I want to make it clear. Let's say somebody was an individual. If you want to go into an individual bankruptcy, do you have to bring your business in it if you are a business owner, if you're a small business owner as well? Does it have to be together?
Well, if you're talking about a proprietorship, where you're simply doing business with a trade name, yes, your business is going to be part of the bankruptcy. If you own a corporation or an LLC, it's possible for you to file bankruptcy separately from your corporation or LLC, and in many circumstances, only the business or the LLC will file bankruptcy and not the individuals.
Do most people, though, do it together just because it makes sense? If you're really having individual problem, you're most likely having business problem as well.
And I would say that in the opposite direction, but the answer is yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said it wrong.
Well, usually the problems would start with a business and roll down to the individuals.
Right, I can understand why.
And
okay.
The individuals start using their personal credit cards to feed the business, to try to keep it alive, keep it going, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the company doesn't have any credit lines left. It's used up all of its bank allowance, and they've maxed out their credit cards. At that point, it's probably going to be a dual bankruptcy.
Okay, now, how should you choose a bankruptcy attorney?
Carol, I would say carefully. There are a lot of people out there who hang their shingle out saying, I'm a bankruptcy lawyer. You need to look into credentials. The very, very best thing you do is get a referral from somebody that you know, talk to your tax professional, talk to other professionals, and get a referral. And even if you do, check them out. Check them out yourself. Go on the Internet. The State Bar of Arizona maintains a lawyer search feature. You can find lawyers through the State Bar. When you look at an individual lawyer's page, you can find out if they have disciplinary issues with the State Bar. You can find out if they have malpractice insurance. Absolutely, I would check them out with the State Bar. go on the Internet and see what you can find out on the Internet. I mentioned earlier in the show that I have been very fortunate to be, rated well by a number of different services. Those are the kinds of things that people will want to see. They want to know how long they've been there, and how long have you been doing it? It's a question they should ask their lawyer when they sit down.
How long have you been doing it? How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for a little over 40 years.
So 40 years, because we didn't mention that. I don't remember if you did or not.
Early on, but
yeah, because 40 years. You also were just voted for what?
Super Lawyer by Thomson Reuters, a major law book publisher, and AV Preeminent by Martindale Hubbell. So there's and AVO, which is probably the most famous online search service, avvo.com. I'm rated 10.0.
Well, again, congratulations on that. He's going to give, for anyone who does call him, a free consultation. Just tell him that you heard it on the show, on the radio, Networking Arizona, 602-266-1717. Also, you can check him out on his website, which I'm sure has all about you there, too, which is bankruptcylegalcenteraz.com. One of the things that I was going to ask you about when somebody, I've dropped it out of my mind. Let's talk. I'm going to let it go because I can't remember right now what I was going to ask you. In terms of the houses and things like that, okay? Because like I said before, earlier on as well, a lot of people are fearful. They don't call because they think they're going to lose. They're going to lose everything, and that's not necessarily the case. Correct?
It's almost never the case. Very, very rare when you lose everything. You can almost always keep all of your family necessities, and things like that can be worked out. So the answer is yes. And remember, just because you visit with a lawyer doesn't mean you have to file bankruptcy. Get the information. Even if you pay for some information, get the information. It will be invaluable to you. It will pay back.
What happens if let's say you're looking at somebody, is there ever a time where you say to them, you know what, I'm not sure that this is correct for you, going bankrupt, are there other avenues that you can help them down, or is it either bankruptcy or not? I mean, some people do other things for them. Go ahead.
Absolutely. There are other alternatives. There are workouts that you can do with creditors. So it depends on who the creditors are and what they're talking about. But I'm involved in a couple of cases right now where we're working out deals with the bank one's an orderly liquidation, one's an adjustment of debt. There are a lot of those going on at all times. So there absolutely are alternatives to filing bankruptcy. And again, that's part of the information that they should be gathering. And if they if they don't wait, they get the information early, there are things they can do with it. If they wait till they're teetering on the edge of the cliff, I might not be able to help quite so much.
Right. Now, so you say that there's some things that they can exempt.
Yes.
Some of those?
Homestead, up to $150,000 of equity. Motor vehicles, up to $6,000 of equity. Tools or equipment used in trade, business, or profession, up to $5,000. Your household furniture and furnishings, your family pets, your horses, your cows and chickens, up to $800. So there are 35 different categories of things that you can protect. And your retirement is protected. Your Social Security is protected. Your incoming alimony and child support is protected. So it's very important to make sure that those are protected the right way, and that's what a lawyer can help you do.
And I have to say, too, that this is a great time to be coming on because there are people out there that are going to be getting returns, right? Yep. So get the returns, get those in, right? Get those taken care of because then you might have some money and to get back from your income taxes and call you. Is that how they should do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We get a rush every year at this time when people say, okay, I've got my income tax refund, and I can afford to hire you.
Right. Now, how long will bankruptcy last?
For most people in a Chapter 7, the bankruptcy lasts anywhere from 4 to 7 months. For most of them, then it's over. Chapter 13 it's a payment plan, runs from 36 to 60 months, depending on circumstances. And Chapter 11 can run from a few months, which is rare, to as much as 6, 7, 8 years.
Tell them why they should not do it themselves or have a legal document, prepare or do it.
Oh, my gosh. I don't recommend that you do a tonsillectomy on yourself either. There are so many pitfalls to get into, And there may be property that you can preserve, but if you don't know you can preserve it, you lose it. We've seen a lot of people lose their homes, lose their cars, lose their business equipment because they didn't do it right.
Don't do it by yourself, and don't stick your head in the sand. If you're getting a return and you get some money, it's a great time to be calling them, because then you can get some peace of mind and a lift off of you. If you call him and tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona, they are going to do a free consultation for you. His number is 602-266-1717, and his website, which has all his information on about him, is bankruptcylegalcenteraz.com. Again, 602-266-1717.